Hi, I'm Roxy, and this is my entry for round 2 of the 2021 VXR tournament. 20 of us have been selected to continue with the competition, and we had to produce a new painting with a different theme. The new theme is African Mythology, and this is Nyaminyami, which I'll explain while you watch a time-lapse of the process video. So before I started recording, I did some iterative thumbnailing to nail down the composition and color scheme. Then I took the winner and scaled it up, knocked back the transparency, and then got to work on the final. If you saw my first entry for the tournament, you'll know it was a zoomed out scene and quite involved. When I watched the top 50 and top 20 judging sessions, it seemed that they were basing their decisions on low-res versions of all the entries without actually zooming in. So I was surprised that I got through because mine didn't look that striking at a small size. So this time around, I've gone for a very simple composition. And while I was thumbnailing, my number one goal was to make sure it reads well at a small size. I did want to have some continuity between my first and second paintings. The themes were completely unrelated, but I went with the same art style and I used the same custom brushes that I'd created for the first one. So I think that ties the pieces together sufficiently. It wasn't a requirement from them, it's just something I wanted to do. So the theme, African mythology. Mythology has been an interest of mine since I was a child. So I actually have a huge mental database of mythological creatures, particularly African ones. But it didn't take me long to settle on Nyaminyami. I'm South African, but I was born in Zimbabwe, although it was called Rhodesia back then. And Nyaminyami is Zimbabwe's most famous mythological creature. Nyaminyami has a snake body and the head of a fish, and he's considered a serpent spirit or a deity of sorts to the Tonga people. The Tonga people believed he provided food for them. In fact, his name derives from the word nyama, which means meat. The first time I heard about Nyaminyami was in primary school in South Africa. There was this boy, also from Zimbabwe, who used to wear this particular pendant. At first glance, it looks like a shell, but if you look closely, it's a coiled serpent. He explained to me that you have to wear one of these as protection from the Nyaminyami while you're in the Zambezi River or Lake Kariba, or you'll get eaten by crocodiles. So I went home with this story to my parents, and of course they knew about Nyaminyami because they were born in Zimbs and grew up there. My mom told me that Lake Kariba is massive. It's like the sea, and she's not wrong. Look at this. Now, supposedly Nyaminyami used to live in the Zambezi River with his wife Kitapo. She was a mermaid-like creature, but he became separated from his wife when they built the dam walls in the 1940s, and he was really pissed off. At that time there were floods like Zimbabwe had never seen before, and a number of workers were killed and some of their bodies went missing. The Tonga people attributed it to Nyaminyami and told the colonialists that a sacrifice needed to be made to appease Nyaminyami. And of course the colonialists placated them by providing a black calf which was slaughtered and floated down the river. The next day, apparently the calf was missing and the bodies turned up in its place. So that is the legend of Kariba in a nutshell. Now, I recently watched a documentary, I'll put a link in the description, where they had an eyewitness of Nyaminyami. This old man claims that every time Nyaminyami appears, the water flows backwards or in an unnatural way, and that Nyaminyami doesn't show his face, but rather just his back like a hippo does in the water. Another person in the same docu said that he and his wife were on Lake Kariba and they thought they had seen something massive moving under the water, too big for a crocodile. But I think it was the tour guide who said that what they had seen was caused from a whirlwind blowing onto the surface of the water and I guess causing big spiral-like ripples. So that got me thinking about the old man. saying how water flows unnaturally, and I wondered if he had maybe seen a whirlpool. Whirlpools are kind of creepy, let's be honest. They pop up seemingly out of nowhere, and if you don't know the science behind it, it can seem really ominous. A whirlpool also sucks fish and all kinds of flotsam into itself, so I can imagine how they might have seen part of a snake, part of a fish, some reeds or a long branch, and decided this was a supernatural being. So that's why for my painting, I actually have Nyaminyami breaching from a whirlpool. And with that, we're at the end of the time lapse. Here's the final. Thank you for watching. Much obliged if you leave a like and subscribe. Until the next one, God bless.